Jungle Emperor Leo, 1997. We're finally here, and it took several series to actually make it happen. Out of all the franchise's original works, except probably the original series, this movie is by far the most well-known piece to ever come out of this franchise. We're talking about a film with a $5.39 million box office hit on its release, and it has earned every single dollar. Of course, this film was also the bigger ones used in a particular controversy, but I've already made a video about that, so I'm not going to get into more details about it here. Anyways, with a 6-year gap between the Symphonic Poems release, how well does this 1997 theatrical film actually hold? Let's dive right into it and give this movie a proper look. So the story in this movie, as one can probably tell, is a very well-grounded take and surprisingly very accurate take on the original manga. Funny enough, this film shares plenty of traits with the 1966's Leo the Lion series, as it follows our favorite white lion as his adult age handling things going on in the jungle, keeping the peace, and of course, handling his children Lune and Lucio. I'm gonna say this right off the bat, this is really a story one can really invest every minute in, and as before with the original series, there's not a single moment when it feels like it takes too long or tries to fill in the time. Each moment has a purpose, and it makes sure each moment counts with its own way. Just as well, there's actually quite a few subplots throughout this film that intertwine with each other and work fairly well. The lion's family involvement with Pagula and Bizo, Lune's involvement with the circus, the Spot's disease going on later on in the film, and the infamous journey to collect the Moonlight Stones from Mount Moon. Typically, many of these plot devices could have been jarring or at least inconsistent, but this film knows how to keep it all connected. That, and many of these plots are taken from the manga's original work, so extra props to the continuity here. It knows how to work them in, even if at first they don't seem like they fit at all. The circus subplot, for example, may not involve the actual jungle in any way, but it's still important because it gives Lune a chance to give a balanced perspective on both the good and evil of humanity, not to mention giving some commentary on the supposed cruelty of animals in the circus. The Pagula and Bizo subplot may not involve the Moonlight Stones or the Plague, but each time they are put in, it shows the strengths of both Lune and Leo as characters, and what makes them so great. Not to mention it's also good adaptations from the manga it's based off. It takes some pretty good writing to get all of these working together in a movie, and this movie exceeds in doing just that. This is something that actually caught me off guard when I saw this at first, and in a way it still leaves me very impressed now. When you look at anime in general, from the oldest ones to the newest, there is a sense that anime often suffers from still images when characters barely move except for their mouth, which even then kinda needs 3 to 4 frames to do. Of course this gives anime an easier time for stylized characterization, but it still means many times they look like statues, especially in scenes when everything's calm down and casual. They can be fluent, but mostly it's for action scenes or scenes with energy. Now when I watch it here, the animation is very fluent, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought that a different country altogether made this film because it doesn't follow typical anime style in terms of movement. Whether it be action-based or even casual conversation, everything is constantly moving, and there's hardly any moment, if any, when the characters are actually frozen. That tells you when the creators care about their piece, when they put in the extra mile in something like this, because it takes a lot to animate, and there are a lot of times when they could have gone easy and just went with still images, but decided not to. And of course, not a single bit is reused, which means everything you see is done from the ground up. You can tell how much dedication can be seen just by how much animation is put in, and this movie has a lot of heart. Tezuka Productions, you all did an amazing job with this, with how everyone moves and how they animate. Now here's the characterization. It is phenomenal. Everyone here, for the roles they're put in, are written wonderfully. When it comes to likability, the film has plenty of characters to see, and none of them are entirely unlikable, and have at least a bit of redeeming qualities, even for the antagonists, which is a lot to say. Let's start off with Leo. Leo is the star character, and presented as a wise, firm, yet gentle king. A king that wants to protect the jungle and keep the peace, but refuses to resort to mindless violence to do so, even if it means putting himself in danger. There is this one scene that's absolutely perfect to show this kind of character Leo is. In the movie, a fire breaks out because of human involvement, and after the fire is put out, Pagula comes to Leo and basically tries to make Leo join them in revenge, to which of course Leo refuses, saying his duty is to protect the jungle, not fighting man. Now, do note that Leo does not once use force to make Pagula listen to him. He's firm with him and tries to make him stop, but never in a way that means hurting him or making him appear tyrannical. Even after the fact, Leo tells Looney that despite not agreeing with him, he admits that he is not entirely wrong, and Leo still sees Pagula's side of the story. If they're trying to show Leo as the understandable ruler, then they definitely achieved it here. This is a far better take on him than the one from the 1966 TV series, which, while sharing the ideals, is a bit more stern and even more brutal, even towards his own children. Not saying he wouldn't fight humans if necessary, but that's as far as it goes. He wouldn't do it mindlessly or for personal gain. Lude too is written very great. At first he's shown to be adventurous and brave, but also shown a bit of naiveness to the world and towards humans. However, after his experience with the circus, he learns that humans are a bit more complicated than that, and a bit more than what he was ready for. But you can still feel that even when knowing of the cruelty of the man, you never get the feeling that he completely resents man either. He still seems to hold the idea that, maybe one day, we all can share the world together. As for others in the film, they all shine in their own kind of way. Coco and Tommy are both very nice and appear as like a pair of uncles towards Leo's children. Tommy being more worryful like Lucio, while Coco is more adventurous and brash like Lune. Bezo is much better than the TV series version, and they tone down how cruel he is towards other animals, but still show him as a cowardly jerk. Lyra is Leo's mate and shares much of Leo's wisdom, and of course the care and worry of a pure mother. Even Hammock, who is shown to be greedy and wanting the power of the Moonlight Stones to himself, starts off as just someone trying to sell some jewels and actually being humbled by a few men taking him away. It's the journey to get the stones that slowly makes him more and more heartless, until he ends up just losing his mind at the tail end of it all. Kind of funny too, Mary in this version is an orphan teen girl working in the circus, and only one giving Looney the perspective of a nice human, whereas previous adaptations kinda show the opposite.
Actually, I'm more than just fine, and you will be too. You'll see.
Good. Oh! Hey! Ow!
There are a lot more examples to go through, but I'm just gonna say that they are all done fairly well. It doesn't matter if they're generic or not, they work out just fine.